All right, so I'm Tim Sykes, founder of Investimonials. I have also been reading and trading and turning a few thousand into a few million over the past decade or so. I have a lot of books. I have a library, timothysykes.com/library, where you can see all of them. But some of my favorite books where you actually need to read them before you can start trading, let alone trading my strategy, but just before you start trading. How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill. Necessary, mandatory. Let's see, Market Wizards, that's great, by Jack Schwager. How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. Ugly Americans, if you want to be entertained. I like being entertained. It's about famous trader Jesse Livermore. He made millions. He eventually, well, I don't want to ruin the end of it for you. That might not be a beginning one. Trading for a Living is very good for beginners. The Psychology of Trading by Dr. Brett Steenbarger. He also writes a blog called Trader Feed. He also has another book called The Daily Trading Coach, which is phenomenal. What other books are there? My book, An American Hedge Fund, if you want to learn about penny stocks and starting up your own hedge fund. The Intelligent Investor, obviously, is a classic. You need that just for fundamentals. Japanese Candlestick Charting by Steve Neeson. Huge for learning how to read, charts. There's a lot of basics for technical analysis. Those are all pretty much the same. Tim Knight's Chart Your Way to Profits, very good. Michael Covell, Trend Following, very great if you want to learn about an alternative trading strategy that has really produced a lot of billions. John Henry, who owns the Boston Red Sox, he had a hedge fund called JWH Partners. He still has it. It's done very well over the past few decades. Trend Following hedge fund. Trying to think. Oh, the classics. Some of the classics. The Great Crash, you have to read that. You have to learn your history. Let's see. Pitbull, great biography. Autobiography. Confessions of a Street Addict by Jim Cramer before he became a clown. Very good. But there's a really good one. I'm trying to think. Oh, Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. It's nearly 300 years old, but it really describes economic manias perfectly. I mean, that single book saved me from losing a lot of money in the 2000 crash because the environment, the bubble, was pretty much the exact same, and there were signs. Back then, just to give you one example from this book, and I know it's a long title, Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. It's a very long title, but one example is these people back in like 1700s France, they wanted this IPO so bad of this South Sea corporation, which was kind of government owned. But people used to overturn their carriages in front of this guy's house, John Law, who created it. And I was just thinking, because then John Law would come out of his house and help them, when their carriage falls over, and they'd be like, here you go, here's 100 shares of my stock. Maybe that'll make you feel better. And they'd be like, yes, right? Same exact thing with the IPOs in 1999 and 2000. We didn't have carriages, but, think about if you could have gotten Netscape or AOL stock when it first came out. What would you have done? History repeats itself, so you really have to learn your history. A lot of my books are old, but, the Susie Orman books of today just don't do it for me. I need those historical books. A Demon of Our Own Design is very great. Too Big to Fail. Those are some recent ones. Goldman Sachs, Fidelity's World. Really just read everything. You get to learn the street and you can see where your profit angles are. You might be a trader. You might be an investor. You might come out with your own brokerage, your own company, like Investimonials. Just as long as you understand Wall Street and you don't fall into the same traps. Sold Short, if you want to get into selling short. The Art of Short Selling is another one. I think that about does it. So, yeah.